Kia ora folks, welcome to the FWW Podcast. My name's Tommy and I'm here to help. This is another one of those episodes where I've just come back from a walk. It's the second episode where I've just come back from a walk, so this inspiration is fresh. There's fucking roadworks going on outside, and there's a plane flying over my head. I don't know what the fuck's gonna, if you guys can even hear me over these roadworks. This one I don't need to air again, it's more just for myself, and if it seems to be worth sharing, I will make that decision, but I want to get these thoughts out while they're still fresh. So I was walking along, thinking about my experiments with social alcohol and drug use, recreational alcohol and drug use, having used drugs as an addict for my whole teenage years. I then went to complete abstinence, no drug use or alcohol use of any site for 20 years, then only ceremonial plant medicine use for 5 years, and for the last year and a half I've experimented with social and recreational drug use, alcohol use. And my experiments from a certain lens have been incredibly successful. I have not gotten carried away with drugs or alcohol in any way. I have not had any of the old behaviors of addiction have not been present in my current experiments. Or the overt, obvious signs. But I have also not been completely happy at times with my inner addict. And that's not necessarily to do with my experience with recreational alcohol and drug use. That's to do with this constantly seeking for, and I wouldn't even say it's a brain, I'd say an addict thing. It's probably just a standard human thing, this constantly seeking for, pleasure, happiness, joy, excitement, those kind of things. The brain always scanning for those types of experiences instead of just being content with lower level intensity experiences, and I'd say it's a common trait. I'm not beating myself up for having it, but I was just thinking about that while I was out on this walk, and then I was talking to the addict, and who I've been calling Chancer for the last couple of months, and he said, I said, you think there's an option between having you think there's an option between having a reward or having a reward later, or not having a reward at all. You think they're the only two options. The only options for you is you either get a reward, sex, drugs, something fun and exciting, whatever the fuck it is, but it's normally sex or drugs. You think there's or food or video games. I don't play video games, so I don't even know why I said that. But some people play video games. Gambling. I don't do gambling either. Watching movies. I used to watch a lot of movies. Let's say that. Even warm, snuggly times, even warm, friendly, snuggly times with a partner, right? Versus just plain ordinary times with a partner, or having hard, challenging conversations with a partner. You know what I mean? Like, you think there's a choice between a reward or deprivation. You think, because I've always tried to sell you on the fact that, hey, look, we won't get the reward now, but we'll get the reward in the future. And the reward will be, self-esteem, or the reward will be virtue, or the reward will be emotional intelligence, or the reward will be, not having the ice cream means that I don't put on the weight. You know what I mean? Or not having the sex means that I get to feel more wholesome and virtuous because I knew that wasn't really sex I should be having. Or not having the drug means that my brain's clearer for work the next day, or whatever it is. But for you, but for the ad, and he was saying to me, but for me, that's not the choice between reward now or reward later. That's choice between reward now or no reward at all. That's choice between, he's going, your self-esteem, you're not putting on weight, that doesn't matter to me. Your virtuousness, that doesn't matter to me. You're feeling that you've got things in balance, that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the high I want right now. So for me, the only choice I experience is I either get the reward or I get deprivation. I get the reward or I get misery. And not only misery and deprivation, I can't, when I'm told I can't have the reward, I get this fucking, it's painful. It's painful for me. It's not just like, oh, I can either have it or not have it. It's like, I can either have it or, And I was like, but if that's true, motherfucker, if that's true, how have we gone a year and a half only using drugs and alcohol very, very seldom, like once a week at the very most, and often way less than that? Like, how have I managed that? And he's like, haven't you fucking noticed? Haven't you fucking noticed? You're like he goes, you've gotten strong enough now, Tommy. You've gotten balanced enough now, or wise enough now, or fucking, you've learnt your emotional intelligence, delayed gratification, distress tolerance and stuff, so that you can give me boundaries and I'll stick within those boundaries. And he's like, but haven't you noticed what I do within those boundaries? And I was like, oh yeah. He's like, I push, like, if every night, if you say Tuesday is a maybe night, it's always a yes. You know this. You've been saying this forever. This is something that that I've been saying for fucking 25 years. With addicts, if it's a maybe, it's always a yes. And he goes, it's the same it's the same shit, Tommy. It's like, if you say I have it once a week, well, I'm sticking to it. Like, I stick to your boundaries. You say once a week, well, I'll have it once a week. But haven't you noticed that when it's that once a week, that's all I want to do that night? Like, that's the priority. That immediately becomes priority over anything else. And if on your one night a week night, there's a good reason to not do it, you'll fucking do it anyway. I'll do it anyway. You still don't have a choice, Tommy. This social use, this recreational use, it's still got an addictive quality to it. And I was like, but you don't do it to the nth degree that I get sick and that I get messy. I haven't fucking ever had to steal money or embarrass myself, or like, there's only one time where I kind of embarrassed myself, and that was more because I had a broken heart than because of the drugs. But like you haven't done this, and it's like, I'm not trying to get so high you have a bad time. I'm addicted to having a good time. I'm not addicted to getting sick. But sometimes I push the limits, and I was like, that's a fucking good point. And it was this realization that for me, there's this adrenal fucking almost sexual excitement around drugs and alcohol and around sex that it stops me being present. Like, it's like if I say to myself, I can have it, I have it once or twice a week. I'll always have it twice a week. And if it's like a choice between hanging out and being really present and really aware with my partner or getting high, I'll think that getting high is a better option. Now, morally, spiritually, intellectually, emotionally, I don't think it's a better option. It's just this fucking inner addict. It's like, that's the only option that matters. And it's like, it was fucking heartbreaking, guys. It was like, well, does that mean I haven't been using socially this whole time? I mean, I haven't been white knuckle. Like, on my nights off, I am not thinking about drugs and alcohol at all. Like, it doesn't even cross my mind. And when for like, say something's coming up and I go, no, I'm not going to have any this weekend, I'll go 2 or 3 weeks without having it. It's no problem. I don't think about it. I don't feel deprived. But on the nights I am having it, on the times when I am having it, when I'm giving myself that permission that, yeah, I can have it tonight, it would take a hell of a lot to stop me. And I will be very unconscious. Very fucking unconscious. And so I reflected on my relationship. Because it was in that relationship that I first started experimenting with, can I use anything recreationally? And I thought about a night where where my friend and my partner accidentally got too high. They had some edibles, and for whatever reason, that batch, I don't know why it happened, but they ended up way too high. And I I just wasn't very high at all. In fact, after a couple of hours, they were still way too high, and I wasn't. I was like coming down, and I was like, I got bored. I'd been looking after them, no problem. Like, I'm a good person, right? I'm not a fucking asshole. I'm looking after them. I'm doing a good job of looking after them. And then after a couple of hours, I got bored, and I said, I might actually have some more of that. I might actually have some more of that fudge. And my partner said, please don't. If you get too high, we'll be unsafe. And I said, look, I had more than you guys already, and I'm starting to like come down, and I'm happy. I had to sit at a park with them. I was freezing cold. I had to sit at them in the park. They couldn't even walk back to the car. Like, it was not a fun night, right? And my friend was he was more funny about it. He was kind of cracking jokes, but he was like cracking jokes, but not having a good time. Because he was cracking jokes, I didn't realize quite what a bad time he was having. But I knew my partner was having a bad time, and I was doing my best to support them and just be friendly. But after a couple hours, I said, I'd like to have some more. She said, please don't have some more. I can't risk you getting too high. And I was like, I'm not going to get too high, hon. I'm hardly even feeling it. She goes, please just don't. And I said, okay, sweet, I won't. Of course, I dropped it. But then half an hour later, because I'm allowed to, because it's my night off, because the fucking addict in me wants to push it to the limit, because I'm now sitting here bored and fucking cold in a field, and my friends are too high, and one of them's cracking jokes, and it seems like he's having more fun than I am. I bring it up again. I'm like, hey, look, hun, you know, we're going to this concert, and we're meant to be going to a concert. Like, we're going to this concert in 2 hours, or an hour. Seems like you guys are getting a bit better. Can I please have some of, you know, would it be all right now if I have some more? And she's like, no, I don't feel safe. Please don't ask again. And she might not have been that harsh about it. That's how I remember, that's how I felt about it. But here's the thing, guys. She said to me, please don't have any. I won't feel safe. And I asked her again. Half an hour later, I asked her again. Now, the next day, my friend said to me, and he's a lovely guy, and you know, he wasn't being an asshole. He's going, well, if anything's going to show your ex that, if anything's going to show her that you are such a kind, respectful, you looked after her so beautifully, and when you asked if you could have some more and she said no, you said, sweet, I won't have any more. And I felt the same. I thought, yeah, I was really good about it. Like, I didn't keep on asking. I didn't pester. I didn't argue at all. I was just like, okay, sweetheart, no problem. But she didn't feel that way. She didn't feel like I'd been cool. She felt like, why did I have to ask the second time? And why, when she told me the first time, did I ask for more information about why I wasn't allowed any? And why did I then, after we'd been through that, half an hour later, ask a second time? And I might have even asked a third. I think when we got to the concert, I asked again, and she said I could. So for me, it was like, oh, I was really respectful and cool, and I just looked after them, and you know, I wanted some more, but I checked in with her, and she said no. Like, that's the way I would tell the story. But she didn't tell the story that way. And I denied her version of the story as being true. Not to her, I wouldn't gaslight someone and say you're not allowed to think of it that way, but in my opinion, it's like, she's so unfair the way she's telling the story. But here's how she told the story. I wasn't feeling safe, and you wanted to get high anyway. And when I told you I didn't feel safe and I didn't want you to get high, you kept asking about it. And it's true. It's true, guys. Her version of the story is true. I rationalized it, and that I didn't think there was any risk to her safety. That's how I justified still wanting to get high, because I didn't think I would get too high. But it should have been as fucking simple as, I don't feel safe. And I then go, well, sweet as, your safety is so much more important to me than, you know. And I promise you guys, her safety is more important to me. So much more important to me. Anyone's fucking safety, let alone this woman, you know, who's given me so much, who I adore. And I saw it for the first time the way it really was out on this walk today. And then I thought about how on another time we were all going to get high. It wasn't long after that. And she said, I'd rather not get high tonight. And I said, oh, but that was the plan. We were all going to get high. And she said, I just don't want to do it, Tommy. And we had tricky dynamics going on that night, so I made it all about the dynamics. So she's trying to be controlling, or she's bossing me around, or she's not being very nice to me. And I was like, look, I don't really care about the getting high, hun, but I just want to, like, why are you making this, like, what's going on? And we had a big bust up over it, like a big argument about it. And my version of it was, she was being bossy and controlling. By the way, we never had an issue in our relationship. There was no issue in our relationship about me getting, that wasn't part of the dynamic, that I got high too often or I wanted to get high more than she did. Not at all. In fact, to be honest, she got high a lot more often than I did. This wasn't an ongoing part of our dynamic. These were two kind of one-off events. But the way I thought about that and conceptualized that was, she was being unfair and bossy, and I just wanted to talk about, like, why has she changed her mind about this? I didn't care about the actual getting high, is what I told myself. But the addict, you know, that was his night. He was allowed to get high. In that moment, he cared more about, that wasn't about her safety that time. That was more just an example of him coming through. I want to fucking get high tonight. This is our Saturday night. We're going to get high together tonight. Now she says she doesn't want to get high. Well, that sucks. We're not going to have as much of a good time. Again, an inability to go, this was the plan, and this is another plan. They could be equally good. We could hang out being high, we could hang out being not high. For the addict, only being high will do. The other option, immediate deprivation. That's going to be boring. That's going to be uncomfortable. That's going to be social anxiety. It just makes, I don't even have social anxiety, guys. I don't even have any social anxiety. I'm totally comfortable. The only reason I'll have social anxiety is if the addict fucking gets into the driver's seat and he'll tell me I've got social anxiety. And the only way I'll be able to have a comfortable evening is if I get high. For 20 fucking years, I never got high. For 25 years, I never got socially high. I was fine in social situations. Sometimes I get a bit nervous. Sometimes I don't have my words. Sometimes I feel uncomfortable and awkward, like every human, but it's not an issue for me. He tells me I'm fucking socially fucked. He tells me the only way I can have a good night is if I get high. For 25 years I didn't get high, motherfucker. What are you talking about? And then I thought about one of the dynamics that went into my relationship ending. Her and I have a different story about why it ended. My story is that it was a spiritual force. My story is that we were both guided and led to split up. Her story is different. And one of the dynamics that comes into her story, which I'm not going to go into because it involves people and it involves her perspective, and I don't like to share too much about it, but it involves... Okay, I stopped that last bit because I think I gave away details that might be revealing or whatever about people or about circumstances. I just want to be really safe in the way I talk about other people's business. Something was going on that she felt was significant, and I should have seen how significant it was, and I didn't see how significant it was. I missed how significant it was. My awareness of how significant this situation was, I didn't see. Nothing to do with drugs and alcohol, nothing to do with even not much to do with me, but a situation in our lives. And it was really serious for her, and I missed it. And I think part of the reason I missed it is because the addict has his little reward every weekend, or every, pretty much every weekend, and at times twice a week, and he was so interested in getting his little reward and having this fun time, having this exciting time, that he missed some of what was going on. He missed some of what was going on for her. And I think the addict in me is more interested in getting high than he is looking after the safety of his partner. The addict in me is more interested in things being nice than attending to the very real circumstances that are going on and that need attention. He wants to have a fun time. He doesn't want to have the hard conversation. He's more interested in having sex than having the hard conversation. Now, I've said since I was fucking 18, I came up with a commitment to myself that as the kind of man I want to be, I will always prioritize being present to the energy that's truly there between me and a woman than to getting laid. I will always prioritize the actual vibration, the actual energy, the actual emotions, and I will tend to the emotions of my partner before I will try and get laid. Before I will always prioritize looking after that person more than I'll look after than having sex. I've always had that philosophy and that belief, and I've tried to do that. But I see now that part of me has sometimes tried to speed up the process, the healing, the hard conversation. Like, yeah, I won't just have sex with someone who's not like, oh, let's have sex, that'll cheer you up. It's not, I'm not like that. I'm not that fucking crude. It's more nuanced, right? But it's the same thing. I want to get to the good part. I want to get to the fun. I want to get to the excitement. I want to get to the happy. I want to get to the reconciliation. I want to get through this hard conversation and get to the make-up sex. Like, I used her, is what it is. I used her to feel good. I used her to not feel so alone. I used her to feel validated. I used her to feel approved of. I used her to feel desired. I used her to feel sexy. I used her to feel attractive. I used her to feel happy. I used her to feel peaceful. I used her to feel content. I cared about her so deeply. I wanted her happiness. I wanted her contentment. I wanted her pleasure. I wanted her to feel beautiful. I wanted to give to her. If she had a look on her face, I would think, do you want some water? And I'd jump up out of the bed and get the water. Like, I'm a generous, nice person. I'm not an asshole, but I used her. And when I realized that on this walk just now, I felt fucking terrible. And then I thought, well, what about my friend Lucy? Aren't you using her too? Aren't you using everyone, Tommy? Don't you use everyone? And I said, yeah, I use AJ. I use the mother of my kids. I use Lucy. I use my kids. I want to feel good, and I use the relationships in my life to try and make me feel good. Because I'm a good person, I try and give as much as I take. I like to be in a position of feeling like I've given more than I've taken. I like to think I give more than I take. But then I said, well, what about your friends? You give to them because they give to you. If they stopped giving to you, would you keep giving to them? But yeah, I would. I've got a couple of friends where that dynamic has taken place for long periods of time. I keep giving. Yeah, I do. I show up in that way. And then it was like, it's not only you, Tommy, right? You know this is every person on the planet. Like, you're not the only person. Like, there is a transactional dynamic going on. Even those of us who have stories of, I'm the giver, I'm the community person, I'm going to save the world. Like, even those of us who have those stories going on, we're still doing it because in return we get to feel virtuous, or in return we feel, you know, morally content, or in return we feel like, or in return we feel good about ourselves that we've done a good thing. Like, doesn't matter what your role is, how you're navigating space-time, to some degree, there's an element of I'm doing what I want to be doing. For a reward. It's horrible, this conversation. I don't think anyone's listening to me talk about this feeling good about it, right? Like, it feels yucky. It's like, what are we, fucking reptiles? Like, with these just fucking, you know, reptilian fucking creatures just going around trying to procreate and eat food and fucking get high and take advantage of others. Like, we're not. We're so much more than that. But I want to transcend the whole thing, guys. Like, I don't want to be transactional with the people I love. I don't want to look back at my next romantic relationship and say, there's a lens you could look through where I really used her. Of course it's not true. I adored this woman. I was so good to this woman. I took care of this woman. I wanted to give to her more than I took. I genuinely did, and I tried to do that. But back then, I wasn't sitting with my pain the way I am now. Back then, I wasn't aware of the way the addict plays out quite the way I am now. These last 5 months, I've grown and changed so much. And even just today, 5 months later, I really get an insight into how I let her down. Because the addict in me was in the driver's seat way too much of the time. It might have only been once a week. And even on those nights, we mostly had fun nights together. It wasn't like, you know, like, it's not like on a Saturday night, all of a sudden I'm a drug fiend. It's just like having a tiny little bit of marijuana or having a tiny little bit of alcohol. It's like, we're not even talking about, like, you know, we're not talking about it crazy. On the surface of it, it is recreational use. It's healthy use. It's not excessive use on the surface. But there's something in me throughout those nights looking forward to the next thing. We've had some of this now. Now we're going to have Duck Island ice cream. Now we're going to have a vape. Now we're going to have some more marijuana. Now I'm going to have a shot of tequila. Now, like there's something going on in those nights that's not going on other nights. On other nights, I'm not thinking, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? On those nights, it's like every half hour I start craving something else. I mean, that was the good thing about being addicted to nicotine. At least there was always something else. Obviously, that's not a good thing. I'm being facetious. And so I come back from that walk going, the addict said to me, I don't want to do it anymore. He said, this time, Tommy, it's not you asking me for help, because I asked the addict to help me give up smoking. He said, this time it's not you asking me for help, it's me asking you for help, Tommy. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to live this way. Will you help me, Tommy? I said, of course I'll help you. Of course I'll help you. And I said, but I don't know if I know how to help you, because you've been with me my whole life. And when you take the driver's seat, somehow I'm so used to you, or you're so familiar to me, I can't tell. Like, I've thought this whole year and a half, any social, recreational, any use of things has been pretty okay. Like, there was a couple of weeks where things got a bit carried away over summer. On both summers, there was a couple, I'm talking like a couple of weeks, you know? I've felt like it's been in balance. And now I'm seeing that it's part of the reason that my relationship ended. Because I couldn't fucking see. I couldn't see beyond this desire to get high. And some nights, nothing to do with getting high. It would be about sex. It's like, you know, we had I was lucky. We had a very passionate sexual relationship. So I wasn't left wanting very often. But there would have been times where my hope was we're going to have sex. I would have been hoping that's the best outcome of tonight, is that we have beautiful, amazing sex. And look, she wanted to have beautiful, amazing sex too. So it's not like terrible. It's not like bad to want to have sex with your partner. But that part of me, it wants the high, it wants the excitement, it wants the feel good. And it blinds me to the other. It blinds me to the other alternative. Some of the best nights we ever had together, we didn't have sex. But at some level, I might have felt, that part of me at least, not all of me, but that part of me might have felt disappointed. Oh, why aren't we, you know? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I hang out with people and I'm spending the whole time thinking about sex. It's really not like that. But at a certain level, this part of me. So anyway, he says to me, I want out. He says, I want out. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Like, I'll give up recreational drug use. That's not important to me, you know? Would that do it? It's like, that's not going to do it. It's not about whether or not, because he's always got to, because you give up recreational drug use, then he'll go to sex. Well, I'm going to be celibate for a year. He'll go to food. Like, it's not really about the substance. It's the software program, right? He's telling me he wants out. And he fucking means it. And I want out. I don't want to be tricked again. I don't ever, not in a friendship, not in a romantic relationship, not in my relationships with my family or anyone, you know? Do I want to look back and go, I was so hell-bent on getting what I wanted out of them, whether it's sex, whether it's validation, whether it's getting high with them. I was so hell-bent on getting what I wanted out of them that at times I didn't see them. That at times I didn't prioritize their safety, their well-being. I'm really determined that I won't. I'm really determined that I won't feel that way about another relationship. You guys know me, I don't have all the fucking tools. I'm not a teacher. I don't know how I'm going to ensure that, guys, but I am going to ensure that. I'm going to do my very best. I'm going to try my absolute hardest that I prioritize giving over receiving in a much more aware and conscious way moving forward. One thing that happened is I said, the first step is getting honest. It said, why do you give to Lucy? And I said, well, because I want her to give to me. And if Lucy didn't give to you, would you still be giving to her? And I said, Well, now I would, because she's my friend and I love her and I'm loyal. But originally, like in the first few months of our contact, no, I wouldn't have. I only gave to her because she gave to me. And then it said, in these last few months, when your partner hasn't been really giving a lot back to you and you've kept giving to her, what's that about? And I said, I'm hoping that she'll start giving to me again. I'm hoping she'll open her heart to me and start giving to me again. I said, good. Now at least you're being honest. What's the point of the podcast? It's like I want to help people. Yeah, and the rest. And I want people to see that I'm funny, and I want people to see that I'm wise, and I want people to see that I'm kind, and I want people to see that I'm attractive. So thank you. Thank you for fucking being honest about it, Tommy. If you're not going to be honest about it, we're not going to get anywhere. You want people to like you. You want to be popular. Yeah, I do. I do, folks. I want everyone watching this to like me. Give me a big fucking pat on the back. Tell me I'm not alone. Tell me I'm lovable. Tell me I'm okay. See, the addict's not a bad person. He's not a bad part of me. He doesn't feel safe. In space-time here on Earth, he doesn't feel safe. He's not wanting to get high at anyone else's expense. He's not wanting to have sex at anyone else's expense. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. He just doesn't feel okay. So the answer can't be that he gets shut in a fucking prison and experiences a fucking rest of my life in deprivation. That's not gonna fucking work. That's not the answer. Sophia might like that for the addict. my inner anxiety, my inner fear. She might want him to just get fucking gone. I know that's not true, Sophia. I know that's not what you want for him. You have a beautiful, generous, forgiving heart. My commitment isn't that this part of me gets punished and abandoned and further isolated and exiled from me and sent away and shamed and flushed down the fucking toilet like a piece of shit. That's not the solution. Chancer, addict, you have fucking kept me the fuck alive. You have defended my fucking life. Whatever created you, whatever set of conditions and whakapapa created you, and you came through and you've been with me my whole life. And yes, you let my partner down. You caused me to let my partner down. But I fucking love you. And it's my responsibility to see you and to catch you, you cheeky motherfucker. Because you didn't let my partner down. I let my partner down. That was me. She doesn't watch these things. She hasn't watched any of them. So this isn't a way to get to her. I won't abandon you, but you said you want to change, and I want to change, and we're going to change. We're going to get way less transactional, way more honest, way more aware. And we're going to seek in every connection I have in my life to think of the other person's needs equally, if not more than, my own. I'm not a generous person, guys. I have to fucking work at it. I've been trying my whole life to be generous. It doesn't come naturally to me. And if I do say so myself, I think at a certain level, that makes me even more fucking generous. I don't know if I really think that or not. But if it's just fucking easy to give, then how much generosity does it take to give? For me, it's not fucking easy. I have to fucking contort myself into all kinds of fucking shapes. Oh baby, I love you, yeah, I love you. Oh baby, I love you, yeah, oh baby, I love you. Will you give me some drugs? And will you give me some love? Oh baby, give me some blood. Give me some of that stuff. Yeah, I'm a fall from grace, full of lies for the taste. I'ma take it to you, say, put it straight in my face. See, I'm blessed on it, I'ma beat the time. Take it all tonight, you can put it deep inside you. I'ma shine real bright like a diamond. Put it in your soul, in your pussy, in your mind, yeah. Get it with me, I'ma take it, I'ma hide it. Take it to myself, I'ma break the fucking high and rhyme it. I'ma do this shit like Simple Simon. Give it to your God, I'ma take no signing, blinding. I'ma hold my mind, I'ma live this life. I'ma take this time and shine this light in the darkness. Hold for the parties. I'ma be a motherfucking hip-hop rap artist. I'ma be the woo-woo consciousness regardless. Take it to your head, I'm a motherfucking heart in a comment. I'ma be a chance to the Lord, man. Break me open and see I'm full of snakes, man. I'm the golden one, I'm the chosen one. I'm the child of God, I'm Jehovah now. I'ma be the devil playing in the pie. I'm a darkness, I'm the beast, I'm a shining heart. I'm a pit full of snakes, I'm a heart full of hate. I'ma rap this rhyme till I take these snakes falling out on my God. Give it to you, God. I'ma be the child of God. I'ma be Messiah. I'ma be a fly. I'ma be the devil. I'm a demon in your night. Be the yin, be the yang. Be the sin, be the sign. Beat it all for the change. Taking no mistake. Never living for the pain. No mistake. I'ma get this time one more game. Hold it in your hand. I'ma break it like a chain. Being who I am, who I am, who I am. Being who I am, who I am, who I am. But I'm trying, man. Yeah, I'm trying,